Turning a side hustle into a full-time business requires a lot of courage, the right timing, and the right strategy. Everybody who have achieved success as an entrepreneur in their business, they all started most of the time as a side hustle with a lot of passion, with a lot of belief, but eventually they turn into a full-time obsession. So for a lot of you out there who commit to your business, to your belief, to your product, and you're starting out as a part-timers, and I want you to know today's message is for you. Look, I started the insurance business 30 years ago as a part-timer. Within a time frame of 1 year, I was able to transition from a part-time life insurance sales agent to a full-time life insurance sales agent, and since then I never looked back. So today I want to give you a couple tips for those of you who want to go from side hustle into a full-time business opportunity for you in the future. First thing first, don't quit your job based on hope. Quit your job only based on proof, right? If today you quit your job based on emotion, based on what you saw other people are doing, but you don't have any proof that you actually can also achieve some kind of result, quitting based on hope is simply not very smart. So my recommendation is very simple. Test out your products. Whatever products you're selling, test out your products on real customers, right? Who are you targeting? Who are your target audience? And when you try to sell those products to them, did anybody buy it from you? And if you're not able to close those sales, either what you're selling, the product, it is not a product that people demand, or it's simply that you don't believe in the product strong enough, or you lack of some kind of skill set to present and persuade your customer. And an important part, what I want to share with you here is you need to make at least 50% of your income as a part-timer compared to your current full-time job, right? If your current full-time job, let's say, make you $6,000, that's your full-time job. You work 40 hours on a weekly basis. What you're trying to do is that your side hustle, your side business, when you selling your product on a part-time basis, you should be at least making $3,000. That will give you a little bit of confidence, and hopefully one day on a side hustle, you're making 50 to 60% income, and then eventually you get to a point where and say, do I want to invest more time into this business, into your own business? So that's the goal, right? But, making sure that you are making 50% of what you're currently making, it's extremely logical. You cannot go by emotion. It's a logical decision, right? And the second thing is you have to treat it as a full-time business, not a job, even though you are a part-time entrepreneur, right? I see a lot of part-time entrepreneurs, they act so part-time, little time or no time. If you treat your business as a part-timers, no-timers, or some-timers, you will get paid exactly that way. So even though if you are part-time to start off with, your mentality has to be full-time. I remember when I used to have a job 30 years ago, and I was doing the insurance business part-time, but my mind was full-time. I couldn't wait until get out of the job. From 5 o'clock until like 11 o'clock, those are the time that I have to really, really engage my business, making phone calls, follow-ups, kitchen table, try to close sales, because I understand one thing, if I can close any deals, it's simply idea, it's not a business. Let me say that again. If you cannot close deals, meaning you can't sell your products, it's simply an idea. It's not even a business. So be extremely logical about that is that it's not fun if you're simply working on a business that nobody's buying from you, or you don't learn the skill set of selling, right? That's the skill set. You're selling something, you're educating people, but at the end of the day, you're selling the product. You're trying to add value into people's life, but you're still trying to convince, persuade why your product is something they need now rather than later. So the way you operate your time as a part-timers, it's very critical. So if you have a full-time job that requires you to work from 8 o'clock in the morning, you get off at 4 o'clock, right? So those 8 hours are already gone. What do you do after 4 o'clock? You have to work like a full-timers, right? How many phone calls do you need to make? How much sales do you need to close on a daily basis or weekly basis on this matter? How much income do you need to make on a weekly basis and monthly basis to prepare you to get to a level one day you are positioned to quit your full-time job and go into your own business full-time? Again, it's all logical decision, but it requires you to treat your business full-time even though you're starting as a part-timer. Your mentality has to be full-time. And the third tip is also very logical. Know your quit number, right? You need to have a certain amount of money saved up, okay? Hopefully 6 months, all right? You need to be able to maybe make at least 50% of your current income with your side gig. You gotta save at least 6 months of saving to cover all your expenses. You gotta add up your food costs, your utilities, taxes, and add them all up. Add them all up. What are your expenses on a monthly basis? Let's say your monthly expenses is $8,000. What you want to do is use $8,000 time, preferably 1.50. 1.50 is what? You want to make at least $12,000. Okay, if you make $12,000 a month and your expenses $8,000, that gives you a discretionary of income of $4,000. If you do that 4 to 6 months in a row as a part-timer in your business, now you're in a position to decide, do I want to go full-time, right? But those numbers, you have to track it. You have to know your expenses, you have to know your income, and you have to know your savings. So again, know your quit numbers, all right? The next thing is develop your entrepreneur mindset now rather than when I go full-time. Listen, act as if you're already full-time. If you're a full-time entrepreneur, what time do you wake up, okay? What do you do on a daily basis? Do you have a predictable schedule as an entrepreneur, as a salesperson? You know, how many appointments do you need to set to hit your sales target? Don't say, hey, when I quit, then I do it. That means you're not ready for it. Act as if you're already full-time. What would you be doing? So the only difference is what? You subtract the 8 hours that you already put in your full-time job, right? 24 minus 8 is what? It's 16 hours left. And 2 hours driving back and forth from your house to your job, another 2 hours gone. So you got 14 hours left. You got to sleep, right? You sleep at least, what, 6 to 8 hours a day? So you have how many hours left? You have about 6 hours left on a daily basis. And those 6 hours that you have on a daily basis, you have to use it wisely. This 6 hours, you have to develop entrepreneurial mindset. And entrepreneurs, they are very stingy with their time because they know their time is their currency, all right? And their time is very limited. So if you don't treat your business as a business from the get-go, you're not going to get paid extremely well. So I learned how to do that. You know, when I was a part-timer, right after get off work, I know exactly where I need to go, who I need to meet, how many phone calls I need to make to create appointments for people I need to see to talk about my products. Every single month, I know the threshold of how many sales I need to minimum make to make certain amount of income so I can survive, eventually thrive in my business. And of course, lastly, if you're doing all that, you got this enough savings, you believe in the product, 5, 6 months you're consistently making income that can replace your full-time job's income, and you start to surround yourself with the right mentors, people who's been there in the same industry, that can give you strategies and skill sets and teaching you the ins and outs of the business. And then let's say if you did all that, it's time for you to burn the bridge eventually, but it's on you, right? Nobody can force you to go full-time. And I also see a lot of people when they have everything ready and they still not making that commitment and drag that whole thing out, and ultimately they get burned as well, because momentum is your friend. It could be your friend, or it could be your enemy. If you have momentum on income, on growth, and you're having some kind of results, and you see money coming in, and you have a right group of people around you and encouraging you, and you still drag on, and ultimately then you delay those momentum. And momentum, once you delay it, it's eventually will plateau, and then then eventually the momentum is gone. So I hope it makes sense a lot of you, because you know, I've been a part-timer in sales as an entrepreneur many years ago, but now, you know, I've been doing what I do for many, many years full time. This is one of the most common questions that people ask me is, well, how can I transition from a part-time sales agent, part-time gig into a full-time obsession and ultimately, do what I love to do. I hope today's video added a lot of value to you. And there's another video I made, I think a year ago. The name of the video is called Creating Urgency in Sales. So click the link above and you'll be able to watch that particular video. I think it's gonna help you a lot as well. All right, see you soon. Take care. JW here. If you like my content, comment below and download my JW Just Win app. See you next time.